Hello, my name is Bethany Reiff, and this is an online presentation of my thesis project for my master's degree in urban studies with a concentration in arts and transformation at Eastern University. The title of my project is Modern-Day Slavery Awareness Through an Illustrated Children's Book. The thesis contains both a research component and the creation of an illustrated children's book about the issue of modern slavery. In my first semester of the Urban Studies program, I became aware of the prevalence of slavery in the world today. The more I learned about the topic, the more I saw the discrepancy between what children are taught about slavery and the reality of the issue today. As an art educator to students in grades kindergarten to 8, I know firsthand that children have a great capacity to care deeply for those in need. In my research about modern slavery, it also became evident that one of the greatest weapons that humans have in the fight to abolish slavery is awareness. With upper estimates of 27 million people caught in slavery today, it's hard to deny the fact that the time for awareness is now. I would like to share with you an overview of my research and also give you a sneak peek of the book. Thanks for watching my presentation. To begin, we will look at some facts about slavery. Slavery was officially abolished in the United States in 1865 with the Emancipation Proclamation. While that was nearly 150 years ago, more people are caught in slavery today than ever before in history. The upper estimation is that 27 million people are involved in some form of slavery today worldwide. Not only in America, but around the world, there is no country where slavery is legal. Yet it is still happening in most every country. America is no exception. While some might think that slavery is just a problem in other countries, the FBI estimated in 2009 that 100,000 women and children between ages 9 to 19 were involved in human trafficking in the U.S. These facts show clearly that emancipation has not truly happened. As I explored the idea of raising awareness of modern slavery among children, there were a few theorists and authors I researched. First, the spiritual capital theory. Zohar and Marshall cite Maslow's hierarchy of need, actually an upside-down version of it, when they propose that many people in Western societies, where there is more wealth, often feel a great desire to give themselves to significant things. Having all their own basic needs met, they find meaning then in meeting other needs. Children are no different than adults in this way. They want to be given more to care about than who will win their next soccer game or the latest Wii game on the market. If given the chance, children also desire to give their lives to significant, real things. Louise G. Phillips uses Nussbaum's term sympathetic imagination in her paper, Social Justice Storytelling and Young Children's Active Citizenship. Sympathetic imagination is defined as the understanding of a perspective of another having potential to alter awareness and understandings of humanity. In her paper, Phillips tells of research she did in a kindergarten class in Australia. She told the students stories about issues of social injustice and asked for their reactions. Her findings report that the students had many ideas, such as contacting their government officials or sending material aid to those in need. It is clear from their reactions that their sympathetic imagination was sparked by the stories, and their awareness of humanity was expanded. Finally, Bruno Bettelheim's The Uses of Enchantment also speaks to the power of stories. Not only are children able to comprehend and make judgments about stories with complex themes, but they also need stories to help shape their identity. In The Uses of Enchantment, Bruno Bettelheim writes as follows, quote, "Many parents believe only conscious reality or pleasant and wishful images should be presented to the child, that he should only be exposed to the sunny side of things. But such one-sided fare nourishes the mind in only a one-sided way, and real life is not always sunny." End of quote. Children, aware of their own inner conflicts, are not ignorant to the existence of struggle. Bettelheim proposes that stories help children discover their identity, answer their most important questions, feed their imagination, and suggest experiences that are needed for future character development. Stories help children process their internal worlds as they identify with the story at hand. Each of these theories and pieces of research support the idea that an illustrated story would be an effective way to raise awareness about the issue of modern slavery. The first part of the thesis is a research component. A qualitative approach using a phenomenological research design was used in the study on children's perceptions and understandings of modern slavery. 3 focus groups of children from grades 3, 4, and 5 were chosen with 6 to 10 children in each group. A list of guiding questions and scripted story were used in each focus group. Questions centered on the children's reactions, feelings, and understandings of the issue of modern slavery. In each focus group, students were asked about their knowledge of slavery. Then, after being told a story about modern slavery, the participants were asked to respond to the story. Questions such as, how did this story make you feel? How have your thoughts about slavery changed? What do you think you could do about the issue of modern slavery? Were asked, and responses were recorded. Using an unfolding matrix, the responses were then organized and analyzed. Based on the 3 focus group discussions, the need for increased awareness about the issue of modern slavery is evident. Almost all the students who responded to the question, "What is slavery?" described a type of slavery that was present in the United States back in the 1800s. Many of the students expressed that they think slavery does not still exist, and those who did think slavery still happens believe it only happens in other countries where it is legal. When discussing the response to the story, To Be a Slave, from 5,000 Years of Slavery by Marjorie Gann and Janet Willen, the influence of sympathetic imagination was evident. Though many students said they could not relate to the main character Francis, or that he was not like them, most students who responded to later questions about their reaction to the story gave comments that showed that they were putting themselves in Francis's place. Furthermore, many of the students had ideas of things adults could do and things they themselves could do to help end slavery. Anything from changing laws, talking to leaders of countries, gathering groups of people to tell stories about slaves around the world, to save up my allowance, buy a slave and set him free, donate money, or take Francis's story and others like his and share it with people I know, were shared. Therefore, it's clear that the children who took part in the focus groups have misconceptions about modern slavery, can sympathize with stories about slavery, and have ideas and motivations to help slaves. The second and final component of my thesis is the writing and illustration of a children's book about modern slavery. The goal of the story is to confront the misperception among children that slavery was eradicated with the Emancipation Proclamation. Told by a tree, the story connects an old story of slavery with a modern story. The tree tells of how it is planted by a slave boy in a time presumably before 1865 on a plantation in the south of the United States. The tree notices that the planter acts differently than the people who live in the grand house with black shutters. It relays a conversation between members of the family who live in the grand house about their perceptions of slaves and recalls the day when a man in a uniform comes and proclaims emancipation. Years pass, the tree grows tall, homes are built around the grand house that now has brown shutters, and a new family inhabits the space. Then, one day, the new lady of the house, tired from long days at home with her small child, brings home a girl to help ease her workload. The girl's behavior is different than the family, as she works all day and ends up chained to the trunk of the tree when she is not working. At the end, the tree recalls the day long ago when the end of slavery was proclaimed and charges its listeners that it is time again for a new proclamation of emancipation. Linoleum block prints were chosen as the medium for the illustration of the book for 2 reasons. First, the strong positive and negative spaces and dark dramatic lines powerfully capture the story. In addition, the printmaking medium has strong historical ties to the civil rights movement and protest of issues in general. Due to the reproducible nature of printmaking, block prints were often used by artists such as Elizabeth Catlett and Kathy Kollwitz to raise awareness about social injustice and human suffering. The final page of the book will contain an informational section. Facts about modern slavery and how the book can be used to teach children about modern slavery with a list of abolitionist organizations will be included. There will also be a note about the significance of the medium used for illustration. With the ultimate goal of this thesis project being to raise awareness about modern slavery, the aim is to have the book published. A book proposal has been written, and hopefully soon you will find it on the shelves of your local bookstore. Thank you for viewing this presentation. I hope it has educated and inspired you in some way to join in the fight to end slavery.